I recently saw the Barbie movie, and I have to tell you, I had a really fun time watching this movie. I mean, this movie, I'm not the target demographic of it, and this it just really just showed because this movie is you can just say a positive feminine movie, girl power movie, and honestly, I really do feel like it did a real good job with it. Not only that, the whole movie theater was packed. It was packed from the bottom to the top, and everyone was wearing pink. Everyone was cosplaying Barbie. Everyone was dressed up and everything. And it was just real excited. This was a very huge, big event. And you could just tell Barbie is going to make its money no matter what. So, is the movie really good? Like I said previously, yes, it is. This movie is a comedy movie. It's goofy. There's some wacky parts on it, but it also brings some drama elements into it. Now, the movie does has its flaws, but I can definitely can tell you, like, even though this was a Barbie movie, Ryan Gosling as Ken stole the whole entire movie. He was the highlight. He pretty much just, I would just say, push, Margot Robbie as Barbie like out of the way, and he just stole the show because every time when he was on the scene, it was just very much hilarious and entertaining. Even though if he was the butt of the joke, or even though he was making the joke, him as Ken, as the character, he did a fantastic job and it was just very enjoyable. But Margot Robbie as Barbie, yes, this was a perfect cast. She did the role fantastic as Barbie, and how she plays that role and that character was so fantastic because this review is gonna have some spoilers into it because I'm trying not to spoil the whole movie, but it just seems as if that Barbie is most likely is dealing with the fact that she is having like things that she never had. Like her whole purpose in life was being perfect, and now she's starting to realize that being perfect isn't something that she's not trying to handle because she started to have emotions. All of a sudden, she started having flat feet. She's just going through a lot of things that she never experienced and that she will consider to be not perfect. And throughout the whole movie, she's actually dealing with it and trying to realize that, you know what, maybe not being perfect is actually perfect. Movie's not made for kids. This movie is made for like either a teenager because it is PG-13, but it's also made for adults as well. So like if you bring your little kids, they're not going to get majority of the jokes and everything else. And like if you brought your teenager, they'll probably get half of the jokes. But other than that, like majority of the time, some of these jokes they did not land, and the ones that do, it was mostly because it was like Ryan Gosling's as Ken, or it was also, sometimes the narrator, because the narrator also like makes fun of itself. The movie makes fun of itself. Like the movie makes fun of Mattel, it makes fun of Barbie, it makes fun of the actors. It just makes fun of everything. And that's something that you can honestly enjoy. And not only that too, they really did push that PG-13 line because there was just like there were certain jokes that was just like they were talking about vaginas, wieners, gynecologists, just all of that stuff. So it was just really interesting. But not only that, the whole plot of the movie is that Barbie, she started thinking of death. She started having flat feet emotions because Barbie is the typical standard Barbie. So she's always supposed to be perfect. And so once she's stopped being perfect, she's trying to figure out what to do. So she meets up with Weird Barbie. Weird Barbie told her that you have to go to the real world to actually meet, your owner, your doll owner. So then she goes to the real world, and then Ken tags along, and then they see how the real world actually is where pretty much man is control, and they do like pretty much they're the ones in power. They're the ones who do the construction and everything else. Because in Barbie land, everything is in the opposite, where the women they're doing the constructions, they're the ones in higher power, they're the ones who's doing like scientists, doctors, all of these things. So when Ken sees how the real world works, he goes on ahead back to Barbie Land, and where the Kens take over Barbie Land and the Barbies are the servants of Ken. So Barbie, she's in this journey trying to meet her owner and in what it's like to be human, but also too, she's have to deal with Mattel because when they got introduced to her interacting with Mattel, Will Ferrell's character, because he is the CEO, it was very cartoonish. Like the Mattel were more cartoonish, but they were in the real world. And so the way how they were acting, you would think that they were in Barbie Land, but no, they were just in the real world. And it was just for laughs, of course. But overall, like this whole movie, it was just a fun movie. It was just a fun movie. The negatives I would say is that it was a little bit too long. There were certain scenes that I feel like they should have just cut out, but also as well, it does comes off a little bit preachy, and it will turns off certain people or some people because it just really does comes out preachy, and it's just like okay, some of the jokes they didn't really land it that well, so like how they participate, because there are certain scenes that they kind of would suspect that the audience would laugh and it just fell on his face, but also as well too how they use Will Ferrell because they just realized that, oh, we have Will Ferrell and we don't really have him nothing to do. So he's just there in the movie at certain parts where it's just like, bro, you don't really have to be there, but he's just there. So yeah, I think that's just pretty much all of my negatives about it. But I also forget to mention that some of the subplots or some of the messages that the movie want to tackle, it just really felt sloppy and it wasn't real put together. And that's just for me, like I really do feel like it was just very sloppy and not well put together. But overall, the movie is fun. This movie is entertaining. And this movie, you'll have a good time enjoying it. And I will give this movie a 7.8 out of 10, but I will give this movie a solid B or C plus. Just a solid B, a solid B, a solid B, because I'm not the target demographic, but I did had a fun time watching this movie. Yeah, a solid B. I'm tripping, a solid B. Yes, yeah, because I had a fun time watching this movie. This movie is something like I will recommend, so a B. But other than that, let me know down in the comment section how you guys feel about this chapter. I mean, this review. I'm sorry, I cannot talk, but let me know down in the comment section how you guys feel about this review and everything. And if you guys do like the video, please give it a like, subscribe, and remember, always be decent. This is Mr. Monotone, and hope you guys have a wonderful day and be safe out here. Peace.